What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the J72 Gaming Channel. My name is Jacob, and you can just call me Jay here. Today I wanted to show you every house in First Light, and which ones I think are the best based off each tier, based off their looks, locations, and their general vibes. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I usually make videos on survival games and crafting games, but I've also been having so much fun with New World that I wanted to share some of the aspects of it that I'm having the most fun with. So in this series of videos, I wanted to show you all the houses in each settlement to hopefully let you find a place to call your own, or maybe help you decide if the housing system in this game is worth it enough for you to dive into the world of Eternum here in New World. In this fourth video of the series, we have First Light. The settlement often used a little bit less than the other three starting zones, but honestly, it's got a pretty cool vibe to it. I like its pirate vibe, and the centerpiece of the town is a huge ship with the Marauder faction leader on it. Go Marauders! So it gets cool points for that. Now, in these videos, we'll go over each house, tier by tier, so tier 1, followed by 2, 3, and 4, and I'm going to order by which ones I find the most cool or useful, saving the best ones for last in each tier. So if you know which tiers you want specifically, and you're just here to look at those, check the timestamp below. Alright dudes, make sure you sit back, kick back, and go grab that snack as we dive into each house here in First Light. Let's do this. All right, first things first in First Light, let's go ahead and take a look at the map below as before I head into the live gameplay section of this video. So this here is the New World interactive map on the website Map Genie, which is linked in the description. It's super useful for finding pretty much anything you need to here in the world. This map you can see right here is First Light with only the houses filtered, and the tier of each house is shown in its location. We'll be using this map frequently to help you kind of get an understanding of the town a bit overall. So first up, tier 1 houses. All right, everybody. So for tier 1s, we have 4 options. The top 2 I consider pretty much identical, but the bottom 2, there's a little bit of a differentiation between them. So the bottom of the barrel here, one, and hold your breath here. I don't know what this is all about. This player has gone crazy, but I'm going to go to somebody else's to kind of show you just what you can do with this place. But anyway, this is going to be the bottom of the barrel one, the one I really do not recommend because it is tiny. This is one of the smallest properties I've seen in the entire game. There's a few other that are out there that are this small, but generally speaking, this is really, really tiny. Now, another one that's pretty tiny, but just a little bit bigger, this one, as I pan away from that monstrosity. It's going to be this one here. This one, interior-wise, isn't as big, but it does have a porch, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of get a little bit more bang for your buck with this one. But yeah, you can see it's in here, just kind of small. At least it's kind of a rectangle instead of the square over there. Now, for the other tier 1s, they're going to be over here, kind of close to the main street area. If east and west running main street, I should say. Is this one going to be right here? And this one is just like the other one I'm about to show you. These two are really kind of basic on the inside, and they don't have a backyard. And that's actually going to be a general trend as we go across all these houses in First Light. There's not many with backyards. I think there's like 2 or 3. Anyway, this tier 1 is pretty roomy for a tier 1 house. So honestly, I think this is a pretty good bang for your buck if you don't mind not having a backyard and you want to be in First Light. The other one is going to be just over here. If we cross through the plaza past the trading hall, you will see over here in the very corner is the next tier 1, and it's identical to the one I just showed you. So it's got just a little bit of a porch and a large interior that's kind of rectangle shaped. So yeah, pretty decent bang for your buck, honestly, compared to some of the other starting zones for tier 1. So if you're just looking for basic ones and you really don't care where it is, First Light's a pretty decent place to get quite a large interior. All right, so for the tier 2s, we again have 4 options to choose from, and honestly, 3 of them are, again, identical and with no backyard, so sense of a theme here in First Light. There is one that is, in my opinion, much more superior than the others, but just keep in mind the bottom 3 are all kind of the same. I'm going to start off with the one up here in the north just because it's isolated, but I actually kind of like this one the best out of these 3 that are all identical. Inside, it's just going to be probably the most common type of house that you see in New World, a small little porch with 2 stories. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like slowly on this one, but the other ones are we're gonna speed through them real quick. Okay, so all 3 of these last ones are going to be down here at the southern road by the southern entrance, and it's going to be that guy right here, as well as this one and this red one. Now, this red one here and this green one here are identical interior-wise to the other one up there, so you can expect the same out of that. It's basically just different locations, and I guess the color you want your walls, I'd probably go green. But this one here, if you guys don't mind a 1-story, I think you're going to have a little bit more space to work with. So you've got a porch out front, and it's going to be the type of house that has a rectangle and a backyard. We've seen this before in Everfall quite a lot, and a little bit in Windsward as well. So you can see that they do kind of reuse a lot of assets, but it's more about kind of the areas and vibes you get with each house. So this one for a tier 2 easily wins in my boat. Not only do you have a backyard and the other ones don't, but you have this backyard that kind of looks into this cul-de-sac area where you got the other people's houses. So it's kind of, you know, got that private neighborhood feel to it. So yeah, definitely recommend this kind of bronzish yellow orange looking house for tier 2. All right, so for the tier 3s, we have quite a lot of options. We actually have 8 options. And I was just talking about how some of the houses are kind of copy and paste from other cities. Well, the 4 I recommend are copy paste, but there are actually 4 on here that are unique to First Light, more or less, and thus I like it a little bit better. So the one I recommend the most is going to be this one here. So there's going to be a lot, there's going to be actually 4 of them that look like this, which are the 3-story house builds that have a balcony on the 2nd floor. I mentioned in, I think it was my last video, how I'm not a big fan of these, as they've got the staircase kind of cutting through the middle of the 2nd floor. It makes it kind of hard to, like, decorate inside here. So that's the window of this one. This one does have a balcony overlooking the forge, so if you like kind of a look of people running around, could be pretty good. There's a sneak peek at a pretty good option, tier 3 right there. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Now, if you go around the corner here, you've got 2 other ones that aren't super fancy, but they are kind of in a secluded cul-de-sac. It's that area I showed you with that tier 1 house that I'm looking at right now. So it's going to be these 2 options right here. The only difference between these are going to be the color inside and the balcony view. So let me show you real quick. This one is kind of boring. You can see that nobody actually owns this one, so I think the general population is going to kind of agree with me on that one. The view out of the back is just kind of blocked by this you know, barricaded fort and a bunch of trees, so nothing too special on this one. The neighbor, however, does have kind of a good view to boast about. Still nobody owns this one, unfortunately. But up here on the 2nd floor, we've got a decent view overlooking town. I think it looks a little bit better than the other house, but this view right here is genuinely pretty darn good. So I'm a fan of this, and you know, I wouldn't blame you for buying the house just for this view, honestly. This is probably the best view of outside the city that you're going to get in First Light. So, you know, that's pretty good. Oh, and then the 3rd floor here is just, you know. So the next tier 3 that is a copy paste is going to be up here. And it's going to be this green one right here. This one also kind of has a meh view, in my opinion. I probably, out of these 4, I would recommend the one I just was at the most out of these 4. If you don't care about the copy paste, that last one was actually fairly decent. This one's got an okay view of the pirate ship out the 2nd floor window, which is kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. Any view of that pirate ship is a plus for me in this city, because that's what really makes the city unique, you know? That's like the vibe of First Light. The view out here is pretty cozy. It's secluded with a big giant tree, but you can't look beyond, so, you know, you might like it, you might not. That's up to you. Okay, but now it's time to look at the First Light unique houses, which is much more of a good atmosphere if you're going to be buying a house here, I think. So the first one up is going to be this guy right here. You can see this is the forge area out the back. It's got that cool little side overhang that the guy put his dog. And then if we go in here, the one that... a good reason I actually don't like this one is you lose this balcony. I don't know why they did that, but for whatever reason, you only have the interior on this one. So out of the 4 new ones, this one's going to rate the lowest for me, simply because of that. It's kind of an odd decision that they made. But yeah, it's got an okay view up here down the north-south street, looking at the southern entrance. So it's all right, but I do like that it's just generally a different vibe, right? It's like a different interior than we've seen before in some of the other starting cities, so that's pretty good in my book, to be honest. So the next best one is also over here by the forge. It's going to be this white one here, and it's the same setup as that other house, although this one has a porch. It has quite a big porch, actually. You can go like all the way down there. Actually, you can't. I lied. But it is much bigger because of that. But beyond that, it's just the same. It's white and red, and it's got the cool little overhang here to put your dog or whatever you want. And then the view out of this one overlooks the forge, which I think is a little bit more exciting because you can kind of see newbie players, you know, dodge rolling their way through town for the first time, which is kind of fun to see. Now, leaving this white and red one with the view of the forge, if we go over here, we get this one. Now, this one is one story, but I do rank it highly because it's got one of the largest outdoor spaces in the entire town to work with. All of this deck all the way over here, both up down here and up here, is yours to work with, and you've got all this space. So you can put, you know, a huge kitchen, outdoor kitchen area here, or you can put a, you know, just seating and like a campfire or whatever out here, and kind of work with it as you want to. Beyond that, it's actually very similar to the tier 1s with the long rectangle shape. So inside's not that big, but that deck is really what makes this place unique. Specifically for a tier 3, it's pretty good. But the one that's going to win for me is the one way up there above my head. It's going to be pretty similar to some of the other tier 2s that we've seen, but its location easily makes it the coolest and most vibin' location here in First Light. So we'll go on up here. It's this guy right here. And you do get access to a little bit of a deck, which is pretty awesome. The guy has his dog with a great view, manning his cannons, which is pretty sweet. And then inside here, you've got kind of a brown wall, which I just like. I think it looks good. Up here is a little bit lighter in the bedroom. You've got this sweet little spot, which I think is pretty cool compared to the other ones, because you're kind of like under the back of the boat, which is sweet. And then this view right here. I wish you had a chair for me to sit in. But this view right here, you see pretty much the whole city, or at least, you know, down into the inn and into above the trading area. And you've got this sweet view of the boat. So yeah, this spot easily takes the cake for me for tier 3s. And keen-eyed viewers might have just noticed, that's the thumbnail. All right, last but not least in First Light, we have the tier 4s. You can see here we've got 4 options. 3 of them are, unfortunately, copy-paste from the Windsward and Everfall area. Although copy-paste is a little bit rough, to be honest. It's just the model they've used very often. This one here, I'm going to rank as the worst tier 4. But they all have a little bit of a different aspect, so you can kind of take what you want. This here is going to be your 2-story with a front yard. So in here, just, yep, what we're used to, just 2-story. And the front yard's fairly large. It's got an L shape, so it runs pretty long, and you can actually kind of have like a cool spot here. So they all have their own little charm, like I said, but I'm gonna rank this one kind of the worst of the 4. Going down the street here to the eastern side, we have past the loom and the, what is it, the outfitter. We've got this one here. Now, I'm usually kind of a big fan of this house style. This is basically the L-shaped one with the backyard. You just got a lot of space to work with. So this one's not a bad one, but I think the next 2 are a little bit better. This backyard is kind of, you know, it's got a vibe where you're secluded underneath the watchtower. So if you don't mind for views and you just kind of want to be secluded, this one could be fairly good. But honestly, if you want that backyard vibe that is secluded and you don't care that it's a commonly used template of a house, I'm going to recommend the one way up here. So this guy here is going to be... Not that guy. This guy here is going to be basically the same as the last one, more or less, with the backyard vibe going on. As far as interior goes, it is a very interesting mix of that basic 2-story we normally see, but the entrance is actually on the side there. You usually see this setup as kind of that L-shaped I showed you, so that's unique on its own right. But this backyard is pretty good. I'm actually a decent fan of this backyard. You've got some cool overhanging mountains, and that massive tree that is kind of a detriment to the view of this house is actually a benefit of the backyard for this one. So if you want the best backyard in First Light, this tier 4 is easily the pick for you. However, the best pick for tier 4 houses, and probably in that line of thinking, the best house in First Light for me, and what I would recommend to you guys, is this one right here. Everything about this house is different, unique, and you're not going to find anything else in the game that is quite the same as this one. And so in that case, for me, that makes it very special. It is out over here by the western entrance, which is a gorgeous view, and you actually get a little bit of those bridges in here. Now, this house, I don't know how nobody has bought it, but First Light is generally not that popular on my server, just by the way the territory claims ended up going. So this one is interesting in the sense that it does have a staircase, but the staircase is outside. So that makes it super just odd, you know what I mean? But it's got a large balcony out here, and then you take this on up to the 2nd floor, which is freaking massive. It's super huge. And it's got this view right here, which I do think the other one in that tier 3 was a little bit better, but this one's pretty cool. If you put a chair out here, you can kind of AFK right here overlooking those bridges. So Yeah, definitely has some charm for this one. But this one here is definitely going to be my pick for you guys to go for in First Light. It's unique. It's got a lot of space. It is kind of annoying, I guess you could say, to run up and down the stairs outside. But that's kind of the charm. That's the oddity, and it really goes with that vibe here in First Light. I think the only thing that would make this house even better would be if it could actually see the pirate ship centerpiece in the center of town. That's kind of a bummer, and I guess a little bit of a flaw for me, but its uniqueness stands out above the rest, so here's my pick. All right, everybody. So that's going to be my list and my ordering for all the houses here in First Light. I hope you guys enjoyed and got something useful out of that. I also tried getting up there in the very top of this pirate ship, but it wouldn't let me. So developers, please change that. That's just fun. I wish we could go up there. It'd be so much better to do this outro actually hanging out up there. Yeah, anyway, guys, if you enjoyed that video, make sure you like and subscribe, and hang out and see some more of these options. I'm gonna be bringing these out every 2 days. So up next is gonna be Cutlass Keys, and then probably Restless Shores. So we're gonna have kind of a or actually we might hold off on Restless. We'll probably go Brightwood and Weaver's Fen after that. But anyway, the point is, next up, we have Cutlass Keys, and it is going to be another pirate-themed area. Not as piratey as this one, and definitely not as piratey as Restless Shores, but the overall Cutlass Keys area is pretty good. So yeah, guys, for me and my character Miguel here, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. My name has been Jay, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.